Okay, we'll hear from the public. Chris Weaver.
Do you remember when we started this process, you were going to invite the public to discuss this? Mr. Uhas at the time brought it up, and you said, that's a great idea. That's a nice little video we have of you saying, yes, let's bring the public in, discuss this. That never occurred. That's a failure. It's a failure to communicate with the public on a matter such as this. What you're trying to do is create a gun-free, weapons-free zone. We've had a couple incidences in the past couple weeks. There was a lady who was murdered in a gun-free zone. Now we're trying to expand more gun-free zones where lawfully permitted citizens who have been scrutinized, fingerprinted, and have had background checks are not going to be allowed to carry their lawfully permitted weapon. You are creating more havens for criminals because they know that spot on the floor right there, that recreation center within this park, is a gun-free zone, and anybody in there is fair bait. Anybody in there is not going to be armed because they are law-abiding citizens. Criminals don't care about the law. You can make this whole county a gun-free zone. It's not going to make anybody any safer. You failed to bring the public in, as you said you were going to do. You failed to tell us why it is it's in our best interest to have these gun-free zones. You failed to provide any data. I've been in contact with the Sheriff's Department every day. There has not been a single incident where a lawfully permitted citizen has used their gun to commit a crime. Not one. It's sad. It's sad. You've not explained any of this. This came as a recommendation from the county manager. Haven't heard why. What's going on? What are we afraid of? Mr. Jacobs says he's a lawfully permitted citizen. Are we afraid of Mr. Jacobs? I don't understand it. There's also a bit of confusion. The recreational area is the small zone, the playground, the pool, the ballpark, the actual building, if there is one. We can go, so the rest of the park is not restricted, but the way it's worded implies that the entire park is off limits. That's not what the state said. That's not what the state says. It says that little square right there with the playground in it is off limits. The way this is worded, it implies that the entire park is off limits. I'm very saddened by that we had to drag this out for 6 months and we couldn't get together and work this out sooner.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. Is there anybody else who wishes to speak to this item?
Yeah. This is infringement on a second.
If you'll please come up and state your name and
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the U.S. Constitution, okay? This is the law of the land. This is the law of the land. I don't care what kind of corporate laws they have. I don't care what a federal government says. We don't have a federal government. That's gone. And you guys just want to rip our Constitution to pieces, okay? You're communists, like I said earlier. You're card-carrying Reds, every one of you. I've had it.
Comments by the board?